Hey everyone, Isaac Coverstone from Naked Pentecostalism here. So you wanted it, you asked for it, here it is. The smoking gun, the strongest evidence that we have for evolution, in my opinion. Keep in mind, I'm a layperson. I'm not someone that is an expert in this field. I'm not a biologist. I am explaining a concept that is probably at least a high school level class, maybe college level. And this would be a subject that to properly understand would probably be a full week of classroom time. It's very complex. This is an advanced biological concept that we're trying to share. So it's hard to do in a TikTok video or a YouTube video or any kind of short form video like this. So the evidence is called ERVs, endogenous retrovirus insertions. An ERV is essentially a virus that has attached itself to our DNA, and it has successfully modified the reproductive cells in our DNA. This allows the virus to pass on its information to the next generation. So what happens is, let's imagine you have a map, and the map is hand drawn by an individual. Back in the Middle Ages, it was very common for a map maker to put a signature on the map in such a way that it made it obvious that he had made the map, but not like an obvious signature, but he would put a fake town somewhere or a fake road or a location that doesn't actually exist in the real world. And then when you would find another map and he knows that he didn't draw it, but it's got that same town or that same lake or that same road or a landmark, then he knows that is a copy of the map that I made back, way back years ago, maybe. And so imagine we have a map and it's very complex. We've got thousands of towns and all these roads and landmarks, and we have 100 slight imperfections, things that shouldn't be there, stuff that was added later. Well, what happens is every time the map is copied, maybe the new map maker decides he's going to put a different signature in a different spot, a different fake town on top of the original. And then that map gets copied. And then the next person who copies it puts their own unique signature. In this way, we can trace all these additions and changes backwards, and we can see what was closer to the original and what was maps that were made much, much later based on the number of additions, based on the number of changes to that overall map. So that's a simple way of trying to convey how our genetic code has been changed and modified. ERVs modify our genetics multiple generations down the road so that one generation is passing on this imperfection, this small change that's been made by a virus, and then the next generation has a different change by a different virus, and that gets passed on. And this happens all the time. And so every animal species on Earth, for the most part, has some kind of endogenous retrovirus insertion. What's interesting is that we can trace this across the different species, and we say, well, this species shares the same genetic information. Say there's two mammals, you've got a dog and a fox. They're genetically related, and we can match up those ERVs, and we can find the points where they diverge from each other. So a fox has endogenous retroviruses in these points, and a dog has them over here, but then both species have the same endogenous retroviruses across, say, 90% of their DNA structure. I don't know the exact answer to that. Keep in mind, I'm not a biologist. However, let's go back to the important issue. That is, are chimps related to humans? So I feel that's where people really disagree on evolution, is they don't want to admit that we're related to the other great apes. So endogenous retroviruses make up 8% of our entire genome. That's 240 million base pairs. It's a huge number. And humans and chimpanzees share 99% of those ERVs. So these small imperfections that have been caused by previous virus infections over many, many generations prior, we share an enormous number with chimpanzees. And there's simply no way for that to happen without those two species being related. Keep in mind, again, this is a lot of information being condensed and simplified. I would highly, highly recommend anybody interested in this subject and really learning about it, you need to go type into YouTube and look up endogenous retroviruses and understand what they are. This will take anywhere from 5 minutes to half an hour, depending on how advanced of a video you're looking at. Get a good grasp of what that topic means, what that, all the different terms. You're going to have to understand what DNA is. You're going to have to understand what a virus is. You're going to have to understand what endogenous means. And all these different terms have implications, and they all have to be well understood before you can understand what an ERV really is. So I'm not able to teach that in-depth of a subject because, again, I'm just a lay person. But this is probably the strongest evidence that exists for evolution of humans sharing a common ancestor with chimpanzees. So thanks for watching, guys. That's all I had for today, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.